My husband said he would divorce me if I didn't give my winning Hawaii ticket to his mom. She yelled at me to stay outside the house and wouldn't let me in without the ticket. Just then, the doorbell rang, and when she opened the door, things changed. I'd won those tickets fair and square from a radio contest. I was caller 97 at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. 2 tickets to Hawaii for 6 days, $3,200 total value. I was so excited. I called William immediately. His response, "That's great, babe. Mom's going to love Hawaii." I laughed, thinking he was joking, but he wasn't. He said since his dad Paul died 8 months ago, his mom deserved a vacation more than anyone. I said we could take her on a different trip maybe, but these were my tickets. I won. He went silent for a whole minute. Then he said, "Patricia, if you don't give those tickets to my mother, I'm filing for divorce. I will not be married to someone so selfish." I genuinely thought he'd lost his mind. His mom, Kelly, had been living with us for 3 months at that point. She took over our guest room, rearranged my kitchen, and criticized everything I did. William always took her side. When I said her 9 p.m. phone calls were too late, he said I was being inconsiderate of her grief. But this ticket thing broke something in me. I said, "No, William, they're my tickets and I'm using them." He hung up on me. That's when things got really weird. Kelly started texting me directly. "You're tearing this family apart over a vacation. I would be ashamed of you." I blocked her number. The next morning I came home from work around 5:30 and Kelly was standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. She wouldn't move. I said, "Kelly, I need to get inside." She said, "Not until you hand over those tickets. This is my house too, and I deserve respect." I was standing on my own porch holding my work bag and groceries. I said, "This is ridiculous. Move or I'm calling the cops." She said, "Go ahead. They'll side with a grieving widow over a selfish daughter-in-law." That's when the doorbell rang. She turned around and opened the door, expecting William. Instead, it was my lawyer, Leonard Chu. He was holding a brown folder and wearing his court suit. "Mrs. Kelly, I presume," he said in his professional voice. She looked confused. "Yes? I'm Leonard Chu, representing Patricia Wilson. I'm here to serve you with an eviction notice." He handed her the papers. Her face went from confused to pale white in 2 seconds. "What are you talking about? This is my son's house." "Actually, ma'am, this property is solely owned by my client. You have 30 days to vacate the premises." I stepped around her into my house. Kelly was shaking, holding the papers. "You can't do this." Just then, William's car pulled into the driveway. He jumped out looking panicked. "What's going on? Why is there a lawyer here?" His mom thrust the papers at him. "Your wife is kicking me out. Me, your mother who just lost her husband." William read the notice and looked at me like I'd betrayed him. "Patricia, what is this?" I said calmly. "This house was never in your name, William. My parents bought it for us as a wedding gift, but they only put my name on the deed. Remember, you signed a prenup. This was always mine." Leonard added, "I've also prepared divorce papers if you'd like to review them." He pulled out another folder. William's jaw dropped. "You're divorcing me over plane tickets?" "I'm divorcing you because you threatened to divorce me over plane tickets," I said, "and because you let your mother take over my home and treat me like garbage, and because you always choose her over me." Kelly screamed, "You ungrateful little witch, after everything we've done for you." I looked at her. "You've done nothing for me, Kelly. You've made my life miserable for 8 months. Now you have 30 days to find somewhere else to go." William tried to argue. "This is temporary." Something made me walk to the guest room. I opened the door. Every wall covered with photos of William at different ages, his baby teeth in a jar, his football jersey framed, a notebook tracking his daily schedule. William appeared behind me and stopped breathing. "Mom?" Kelly stood in the doorway looking embarrassed but defiant. "He's my son. I'm allowed to have pictures." William picked up the notebook with shaking hands. "You've been following me?" His work schedule. The coffee shop he went to Thursdays. Everything. Kelly grabbed the notebook back. William tried to take it. They struggled. Pages ripped. Kelly's scream pierced my ears. William let go. She fell backward down the stairs. I watched it happen like it was in slow motion. Her body hit each step with these horrible thuds, and honestly, for a second, I couldn't even process what I was seeing. William rushed past me, nearly knocking me over, and I just stood there at the top of the stairs, frozen. My brain was trying to catch up with what my eyes had just seen. Kelly was lying at the bottom in this crumpled position, one hand pressed against her lower back, the other reaching up toward William. She was moaning, but not like someone in actual agony. More theatrical, you know? Like the sound was too controlled, too aware of its audience. I noticed her eyes were open and focused, tracking William's face as he knelt beside her. She wasn't looking around confused or dazed the way you would if you'd just tumbled down a flight of stairs. She was looking right at him. "Don't move, Mom," William said, his voice shaking. He pulled out his phone with trembling fingers and called 911. I could hear him giving our address, describing what happened. "She fell down the stairs. Yes, she's conscious. She's breathing. Please hurry." I walked down the stairs slowly, carefully avoiding the torn notebook pages scattered on the steps. I kept watching Kelly the whole time. She was positioned too carefully, I realized. Like her legs were bent at these specific angles, her hair spread out around her head like she'd arranged it. One arm was flung out dramatically, the other clutched her ribs, and she kept making eye contact with William while she moaned, this weird, intense stare like she was trying to communicate something to him without words. "Mom, don't try to talk," William said. He was kneeling next to her, his hand hovering over her shoulder like he wanted to touch her, but was afraid he'd hurt her worse. "The ambulance is coming. Just stay still." Kelly made this whimpering sound. "William, my baby, don't leave me." "I'm not leaving you, Mom. I'm right here." She reached up with her free hand and William took it. She gripped his fingers so tight her knuckles went white. I stood at the bottom of the stairs watching the scene, and something felt wrong. The whole thing felt staged. but I couldn't put my finger on why. Maybe it was the way Kelly's eyes never left William's face. Maybe it was how she'd positioned her body. Maybe it was just my paranoia after finding that creepy shrine room. The paramedics arrived in maybe 7 minutes. 2 guys with a stretcher and medical bags. They came in and started checking Kelly's vitals, asking her questions. Where does it hurt? Can you move your fingers? Your toes? What's your name? What day is it? Kelly answered everything clearly. Yes, her back hurt. Yes, her ankle hurt. Her name was Kelly Ann Wilson. It was Thursday. The president was whoever. I don't even remember what she said. She knew all the answers. She was totally lucid. They checked her pupils with a light. They felt along her spine carefully. They examined her ankle, which was already starting to swell a little. They said they'd need to take her to the hospital for x-rays to make sure nothing was broken. I'll ride with you, William said immediately. The paramedics started to load Kelly onto the stretcher. She suddenly grabbed William's shirt. Don't leave me alone. Please, I need you with me. I'm coming, Mom. I promise. They lifted her onto the stretcher. Kelly refused to let go of William's hand even as they wheeled her toward the door. Promise me you'll be in the ambulance. Promise me. I promise, Mom. I'm right here. One of the paramedics looked at me. Are you family? I'm her daughter-in-law, I said. You can follow in your car. There's only room for one person in the ambulance. William didn't even glance at me. He climbed into the ambulance holding his mother's hand, and they closed the doors. I watched the ambulance pull away with its lights flashing but no siren. I stood in the driveway for a minute just trying to process everything. Then I went back inside. The house felt strange and quiet. The eviction notice Kelly had dropped was lying on the hallway floor. The divorce papers Leonard had brought were on the side table. The guest room door was still open upstairs, that shrine to William visible from the hallway. I picked up my keys and drove to the hospital. I didn't really want to, but it seemed like the thing you're supposed to do when your mother-in-law falls down your stairs. The drive took about 15 minutes. I parked in the visitor lot and walked into the emergency room. The lady at the front desk directed me to where Kelly was. They'd already taken her back to a room. I found the room number and walked down the hallway. Through the window, I could see Kelly lying in a hospital bed in one of those gowns. William was sitting in the chair right next to the bed, still holding her hand. I pushed open the door. Hey, William barely glanced at me. The doctor says they're going to do x-rays soon. Okay, I said. That's good. Kelly made this whimpering sound. William, honey, I'm so scared. What if something's wrong internally? What if I'm bleeding inside? What if they find something terrible? William squeezed her hand. They're taking good care of you, Mom. The paramedics said your vitals looked good. But you don't know, Kelly said. Her voice got higher, more panicked. People die from internal bleeding all the time. They seem fine and then suddenly they're not. I read about it. William, I can't leave you. Not like your father. You need me. You're going to be fine, Mom, William said, but I could hear the worry creeping into his voice now. Kelly was planting seeds of fear and they were taking root. Promise me you'll stay, Kelly said. Promise me you won't leave this hospital until they've checked everything. I promise, Mom. I'm not going anywhere. I was still standing in the doorway. Neither of them had really acknowledged my presence. It was like I was invisible. William, I said, can I talk to you outside for a second? Not now, Patricia. He didn't look at me. Can't you see she's in pain? Kelly was watching me with this look on her face. Not pain, something else. Something that made my skin crawl. Almost like satisfaction, like she was enjoying this. I just need 1 minute, I said. Whatever you need to say can wait, William said. His tone was sharp. My mother just fell down the stairs. Have some compassion. I stood there for another few seconds, but it was clear I was wasting my time. William had made his choice about where his attention was going, and it wasn't toward me. I left. I just turned around and walked out of that hospital room, down the hallway past the nurse's station, through the waiting area, and out to the parking lot. I sat in my car for maybe 20 minutes, just staring at the steering wheel, trying to understand what the hell was happening to my marriage. My phone buzzed. A text from William. Staying with Mom overnight. Doctor wants to observe her. Don't wait up. No, I love you. No, I'm sorry about today. No acknowledgement that we'd had a massive fight about Hawaii tickets and his mother's creepy stalker notebook. Just instructions not to wait up for him. That's when I remembered something. Kelly's phone. She'd left it in the guest room, on the nightstand next to all those photos. I'd seen it sitting there when I was standing in the doorway earlier, right before everything went crazy with the notebook. I drove home. The house felt weird and empty now. All the lights were off. I'd left in such a hurry to follow the ambulance that I hadn't locked the door properly. I went inside and locked it behind me, then went upstairs to the guest room. The room still creeped me out. All those photos of William staring at me from the walls, the baby teeth in the jar on the dresser, his old football jersey in a frame, newspaper clippings from when he'd made honor roll in high school. It was like a museum dedicated to one person, and that person was supposed to be my husband. Kelly's phone was on the nightstand, right where I'd seen it. I picked it up. The screen lit up when I touched it. No lock screen, no passcode, just straight to the home screen. I hesitated for a second. This was an invasion of privacy, right? But then I thought about the notebook tracking William's schedule. I thought about Kelly refusing to let me in my own house. I thought about William threatening to divorce me on his mother's orders. I opened the Messages app. William's name was at the top of the list. The most recent text was from this morning, time-stamped 9:47 a.m., before I'd come home from work and found Kelly blocking the door. Kelly, she's being difficult about the tickets. Time to force the issue. She needs to learn her place or leave. William, I'll handle it, Mom. Kelly, make it clear you're serious. Divorce is on the table if she doesn't fall in line. William, I know, I will. I felt my stomach drop like I was on a roller coaster. I scrolled up, reading more messages. From 2 weeks ago. Kelly, you need to initiate more. She's going to think you're not attracted to her. Tuesday and Saturday nights minimum. William. Okay, Mom. Kelly, did you do it last night? William. Yes. Kelly. Good boy. Consistency is important in a marriage. I literally felt like I was going to throw up. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the phone. I kept reading. From a month ago. Kelly, you need to stop her from buying that couch. I hate the color and it's a waste of money. William, I'll tell her we should wait. Kelly, don't say I told you to. Make it seem like your idea. William, I will. I remembered that fight. We'd been at the furniture store and I'd found this couch I loved, this deep green velvet one. William had suddenly said we should wait, that it was too expensive, that we should think about it more. I'd been confused because we'd literally gone to the store to buy a couch. We'd budgeted for it, but he'd been so insistent that we needed to wait that I'd given in. His mother had told him to stop me. I scrolled further back. The messages went back years. I found texts from when William and I were just dating, from 3 years ago. Kelly, what did you talk about tonight? William, she told me about her childhood, her parents' divorce, how she wants kids someday. Kelly, good, use that. Tell her you want kids too, but you need to wait until you're financially stable. That'll buy us time. William, time for what? Kelly, time for her to show her true colors. If she really loves you, she'll wait. If she's just trying to trap you, she'll push. William, okay, Mom, that makes sense. I remembered that conversation. We'd been at dinner at this Italian place, and I'd opened up about my family and my hopes for the future. William had been so sweet about it, saying he wanted kids too, but we should wait until we were financially stable. I'd thought it was responsible and mature. It had been a script his mother gave him. I kept scrolling. There were hundreds of these messages, maybe thousands. Kelly asking what we'd talked about. William reporting back like he was some kind of spy. Kelly giving him instructions on what to say, how to act, when to have sex with me, what decisions to make. From 2 years ago, right after William proposed. Kelly, I assume you talked to me before buying the ring? William, of course, Mom. I sent you pictures of the options, remember? Kelly, good. I'm glad you chose the oval cut like I suggested. The princess cut would have looked cheap on her. I looked down at my engagement ring. The oval diamond I'd thought William had chosen because he knew my taste. His mother had picked it out from 1.5 years ago. Kelly, the wedding is getting too expensive. You need to cut the guest list. William, Patricia wants her college friends there. Kelly, tell her we need to keep it intimate. Family only. Her friends can celebrate with her some other way. William, okay. I remembered that fight too. William had suddenly insisted we needed a smaller wedding. Just family. I'd been hurt that my friends couldn't come, but he'd said it was about keeping things intimate and meaningful. I'd eventually agreed because I didn't want to seem like I cared more about a big party than about marrying him. Kelly had orchestrated that too. The most recent messages before the ticket fight were from yesterday. Kelly, she's getting too comfortable, too confident. You need to remind her that I'm still part of this family. William, how? Kelly, the Hawaii tickets are perfect. Tell her to give them to me. If she refuses, threaten divorce. William, isn't that extreme? Kelly, trust me. She needs to understand the hierarchy here. I'm your mother. I come first. If she can't accept that, better to find out now. William, you're right, Mom. I'll call her tomorrow. I sat on Kelly's bed reading these messages for I don't even know how long. Hours, maybe. The sun went down outside. The room got dark around me. I didn't bother turning on the lights. I just sat there in the dim glow of Kelly's phone screen, reading every single conversation thread between my husband and his mother. There were messages about what I wore, what I cooked, how I cleaned the house, how often I called my own family. Everything was reported to Kelly, and Kelly had an opinion on everything. From 8 months ago, right after Paul died. William, Patricia says she's sorry for your loss and wants to know if there's anything she can do. Kelly, I need to move in with you for a while. I can't be alone in this house. William, I'll ask her. Kelly, don't ask. Tell her, this isn't optional. I'm your mother and I need you. William, okay, Mom. He'd never asked me if Kelly could move in. He'd told me she was coming and that was that. I'd been confused, but I hadn't wanted to seem heartless when the woman had just lost her husband. From 6 months ago. Kelly, Patricia seems annoyed that I reorganized the kitchen. She said something passive-aggressive about not being able to find the measuring cups. William, I'll talk to her. Kelly, tell her that I know more about running a household than she does. I raised a successful son on my own while she can barely manage to keep the pantry organized. William, I don't know if I should say it exactly like that. Kelly, you need to establish boundaries, William. If you let her disrespect me in my own home, she'll never learn. William, okay, Mom. Okay, I'll handle it. And he had handled it. He'd sat me down and told me I needed to be more respectful of his mother's experience and suggestions, that Kelly was just trying to help, that I was being ungrateful. Every fight we'd ever had, I realized, had Kelly's fingerprints all over it. I heard the front door open around 6 in the morning. I'd been awake all night sitting in Kelly's room, reading every single message thread. My eyes burned from staring at the screen. My back ached from sitting in the same position for hours. William came upstairs. I heard his footsteps on the stairs, heard him pause at the doorway of the guest room. He stood there looking at me. He looked exhausted, with dark circles under his eyes and his shirt wrinkled like he'd slept in it. He saw the phone in my hands and his whole face just went blank. Not surprised, not guilty, just blank. Are you satisfied now? He said quietly. That was it. Not an apology, not shock that I'd invaded his mother's privacy, not concern that I'd spent the whole night reading evidence of his betrayal. Just that one question, delivered in this tired, almost annoyed tone. "Did you know I was going to read these?" I asked. My voice came out hoarse from not talking for hours. "I figured you would eventually," he said. He walked into the room and sat down on the edge of the bed, not looking at me. "Mom leaves her phone everywhere. She's not careful about it. So you knew what was in here? All these messages?" "Yeah, and you don't think there's anything wrong with any of this?" William sighed like I was being exhausting, like I was a child asking why the sky is blue for the 100th time. "My mother cares about our marriage, Patricia. She wants us to work out. She gives me advice because she's been through this before with Dad. Is that really so terrible?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I held up the phone. "William, she's been telling you when to have sex with me. She coaches you on what to say to me in every conversation. She told you to threaten divorce over the Hawaii tickets. She picked out my engagement ring. She controlled our wedding guest list. She tells you what decisions to make about furniture and money and everything else. This isn't advice. This is control. She thought threatening divorce would teach you to be less selfish," he said. He said it like it was the most reasonable thing in the world, like obviously threatening to end our marriage over plane tickets was a normal teaching method. "I want her out of our lives," I said. My voice was shaking now. Completely. No more living here. No more daily phone calls. No more text messages controlling every aspect of our marriage. "I want her gone, William." William looked at me then, and his eyes were cold in a way I'd never seen before. "That's impossible. My mother has nobody else. Dad's dead. I'm all she has. I'm not going to abandon her because you're jealous of our relationship." "Jealous?" I stood up so fast I got dizzy. "William, this isn't a normal relationship. Mothers don't tell their adult sons when to sleep with their wives. Mothers don't track their sons' schedules in notebooks. Mothers don't coach their sons on every single word to say to their wives. Lots of men are close to their mothers," he snapped back. "Just because your family is distant and cold and dysfunctional doesn't mean mine has to be. Just because your parents got divorced and barely talk to you doesn't mean I have to have that kind of relationship with my mom." That hurt more than I expected it to. My parents' divorce had been messy and painful, and yeah, my relationship with them wasn't great. But I'd never tried to force William to have the same kind of family dynamic I had. I showed him the message where he'd told Kelly our sex schedule. I held the phone right in front of his face. "This doesn't bother you at all? You told your mother every time we had sex. You gave her details about our intimate life. She was worried we weren't connecting physically," he said. He wouldn't look at the phone. "After Dad got sick, their physical relationship suffered and it hurt their marriage. She didn't want the same thing to happen to us. She cares about our intimacy, Patricia. Most wives would appreciate having a mother-in-law who wants their marriage to succeed." I felt like I was talking to a stranger. "William, do you hear yourself? Do you hear how insane this sounds? What's insane is you going through my mother's phone," he said, his voice rising. "What's insane is you trying to turn me against her. What's insane is you threatening to kick her out of our house when she just lost her husband and needs her family. This is my house," I said. "My name on the deed, remember? And she's not my family, she's yours, and I'm done sharing my home with someone who's been sabotaging my marriage from day one." William stood up and went to the closet. He started pulling out clothes and shoving them in the duffel bag Kelly kept in there. I watched him grab shirts and pants and socks, just cramming them in without folding anything. "What are you doing?" I asked, even though I knew exactly what he was doing. "I'm going to stay with Mom for a few days, at the hotel where they're keeping her for observation, until you calm down and we can have a rational conversation about this." "I am calm. I am being rational. Your mother has been controlling our entire relationship and you can't even see it." "No, Patricia. My mother has been helping our relationship. She's been trying to make me a better husband. And instead of being grateful, you're acting like some jealous teenager who can't stand that her boyfriend has a good relationship with his mom." He zipped the bag and walked toward the door. I stepped in front of him. "William, please. Just listen to yourself. Read these messages again. Really look at them and tell me this is normal." He stepped around me. "I love you, Patricia, but I love my mother too. And if you make me choose, you're not going to like the answer. I'm not making you choose between loving me and loving her. I'm asking you to have a normal relationship with her. Boundaries, privacy, your own life. That's the same thing," he said. "To you, having boundaries means cutting her out. It means not talking to her every day. It means not valuing her opinion. That's not going to happen. So you're choosing her. I'm choosing not to be manipulated by you," he said. "I'm choosing not to let you isolate me from my family, just like Mom said you would try to do." He walked out. I followed him down the stairs. "She told you I would try to isolate you? When?" "Months ago," William said. He was at the front door now, bag in hand. "She warned me that wives do this when they're insecure, that they try to turn their husbands against their mothers so they can have complete control. And here you are, proving her right." "Or," I said, my voice breaking, "she told you that so when I eventually figured out what she was doing and tried to stop it, you'd already be programmed to see me as the villain." William looked at me like I was crazy. "Listen to yourself. You sound paranoid. You sound exactly like the kind of person who would go through someone's phone looking for evidence to support your conspiracy theories." He opened the door. "If you leave right now, I'm filing for divorce," I said. William paused. "Then file." And he left. I watched him walk to his car, throw the bag in the back seat, and drive away. I stood in the doorway of my house watching his taillights disappear down the street. I went inside and locked the door. I sat on the couch in the living room and cried until I couldn't breathe anymore. Then I just sat there in silence, staring at nothing. 2 days went by. William didn't call. He didn't text. I went to work in this fog, barely able to focus on anything. People asked if I was okay and I said I was fine. I came home to the empty house and sat in the silence. I kept Kelly's phone. I know I should have given it back or sent it to the hospital, but I didn't. I kept reading the messages, finding new horrors every time I scrolled through them. Evidence of a 3-year psychological campaign to control my husband, and by extension, me. On the third day, which was a Saturday, I got a call from our credit card company. The automated system first, asking me to verify some unusual charges, then a real person. Mrs. Wilson, I'm calling about some charges on your account that fell outside your normal spending patterns. I wanted to verify these were authorized. What charges? I asked. A couple's massage at the Grandview Hotel Spa booked for William Wilson and Kelly Wilson. Room service charges for 2 with a bottle of champagne, $287. And a dinner reservation at the hotel restaurant, $400. I felt the room spin a little. When were these charges made? The massage was yesterday at 2 p.m. The room service was last night around 8 p.m. The dinner reservation is for tonight at 7 p.m. And they're all listed for 2 people, William and Kelly? Yes, ma'am. The spa specifically has it listed as a couple's package. Would you like me to? I hung up. I just ended the call and sat there staring at my phone. A couple's massage, champagne. A dinner reservation. I looked up the Grandview Hotel on my phone and called the restaurant. Grandview Restaurant, this is Jessica. How can I help you? Hi, I have a reservation for tonight under William Wilson and I need to confirm the details. One moment, please. I heard typing. Yes, I have a reservation for William Wilson. Party of 2 at 7 p.m. table 14 by the window. Is there anything you'd like to change? When was this reservation made? Let me check. It was made 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. Before the fight about the tickets, before the eviction notice, before Kelly fell down the stairs, before any of this happened. And who made the reservation? I asked. It was made under the name Kelly Wilson. She requested table 14 specifically and asked that we have champagne ready for an anniversary celebration. An anniversary? Yes, ma'am. The notes say to have the staff wish them a happy anniversary when we bring out dessert. I hung up and got in my car. I drove to the Grandview Hotel. It was one of those nice places downtown with the marble lobby and the doorman and the restaurant that has floor-to-ceiling windows looking out onto the street. I found parking on the street and walked up to the building. Through the restaurant windows, I could see inside. It was still early, only about 5:30, but the place was already setting tables for dinner service. I went to a coffee shop across the street and waited. I ordered a coffee I didn't drink and sat at the window table where I could see the hotel entrance. At 6:45, William and Kelly walked into the hotel together. William was wearing a suit, not just a button-down and slacks, but an actual suit with a tie, the navy one he'd worn to his dad's funeral. Kelly was wearing a dark blue dress, knee-length with her hair done up. She had her arm linked through William's arm, and they were walking close together, talking. I watched them disappear into the hotel. I waited 5 minutes, then crossed the street and went inside. The hostess at the restaurant tried to stop me. Do you have a reservation? I'm meeting someone, I said, and walked past her before she could stop me. I spotted them immediately. Table 14 by the window, just like the reservation said. William and Kelly sitting across from each other, candlelight between them, 2 menus open in front of them. Kelly had both her hands reached across the table, and William's hands were in hers. She was holding them, her thumbs rubbing across his knuckles in little circles. I walked right up to their table and sat down in the empty chair. Kelly didn't let go of William's hands. Patricia, William said. He looked uncomfortable but not guilty, not caught, just uncomfortable, like I'd interrupted something private but not wrong. What are you celebrating? I asked. My voice came out steadier than I expected. Kelly smiled at me. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who'd already won and knew it. 32 years of unconditional love. I looked at William. What does that mean? It's my birthday next week, William said. He pulled one hand back from his mother, but she held on to the other one. I'll be 32. Mom wanted to celebrate early since we're staying at the hotel anyway, and everything's been stressful lately. And the couple's massage? I asked. Kelly answered before William could. The spa only does couple packages on Tuesdays, dear. It was just convenient. We both needed to relax after the week we've had. Don't be crude about it. William still hadn't pulled his other hand away from his mother's. Do you see how disturbing this is? I asked him directly. You're at a romantic restaurant, dressed up, holding hands with your mother, celebrating an anniversary? It's not an anniversary, William said, but his voice was defensive now. It's my birthday, and it's not romantic. It's just a nice dinner. You're twisting everything to make it seem weird when it's not. I looked at Kelly. She was sitting there completely calm, still holding William's hand, watching me with this satisfied expression. You're walking fine, I said to her. Kelly glanced down at her ankle like she'd forgotten about it. Oh yes, the doctors cleared me yesterday. Just a minor sprain like they thought. Nothing serious. They said I could walk normally as long as I'm careful. When was this reservation made? I asked. William looked confused. What? I called over the server, the same woman who'd greeted me when I walked in. Excuse me, when was this reservation made? The server looked uncomfortable but checked her tablet. 3 weeks ago, ma'am. 3 weeks, I repeated. I looked at Kelly. You made a reservation for your anniversary with William 3 weeks ago. Kelly shrugged, completely unbothered. I like to plan ahead, before the fight about the tickets, before you fell down the stairs, before any of this happened. Yes, dear, I made a reservation to celebrate my son's birthday. Is that a crime? William was starting to look uncomfortable now. He pulled his hand back from Kelly's finally, and she let him. He looked at his mother with something uncertain in his eyes. Mom, you made this reservation before you fell? Before I what? Kelly's face was perfectly innocent. The stairs, You fell down the stairs 2 days ago. I know that, honey. What does that have to do with making a dinner reservation for your birthday? William's voice got quieter. Did you plan the fall? The table went silent. The restaurant noise around us continued, people talking and laughing and eating, but at our table, everything stopped. Kelly didn't even hesitate. She didn't look shocked or offended or hurt. She just looked at William calmly and said, I needed to know if you'd choose me when Patricia forced you to pick sides. And you did exactly what I knew you would. William stared at her. What? You chose me, Kelly said simply. When she tried to make you choose, when she served me with eviction papers and told me to leave, you chose to come with me. That's all I needed to know. The words just hung there in the air between them. Why would you do that? William asked. His voice sounded young suddenly, like a kid asking why someone would lie to them. Kelly leaned forward. Because she was trying to take you from me, baby. And I had to remind you who you really belonged to. I had to know if all my work raising you had stuck, or if she'd undone everything I'd built. She said it so calmly, like it was obvious. Like staging a fall down the stairs to manipulate your adult son was just normal motherly concern. William looked at me, then back at his mother. You faked falling down the stairs? I didn't fake it, Kelly said. I fell. It hurt. I just chose when to fall. And yes, I made sure you were there to see it. I needed you to see her pushing me, attacking me, forcing me down those stairs. I didn't push you, I said. You fell during a struggle with William over the notebook. Details, Kelly said, waving her hand. The point is, William had to choose, and he chose me, just like I knew he would, just like I raised him to. William stood up. His chair scraped against the floor loud enough that people at nearby tables looked over. That's crazy, Mom. You can't just… That's insane. You plan to fall down the stairs to manipulate me? Kelly grabbed his wrist before he could step away. Her fingers wrapped around him tight. Listen to me, William. I'm the only person who has loved you every single day of your life, who knows everything about you, who you tell everything to. She glanced at me with contempt. She's had you for 3 years. I've had you for 32. Every nightmare you ever had, I was there. Every triumph, every failure, every moment of your life, I was there. Not her, me. William looked at me, and his face just crumbled. He knew she was right. He'd given his mother every detail of our life together. Every private conversation, every intimate moment, every secret. I was the outsider in his life, not Kelly. I'd never stood a chance. I stood up. I'm filing for divorce. Patricia, William started. No, I said. I'm done. I'm filing on Monday, and I want you out of my house by the end of the month. I turned and walked out of the restaurant. I heard William's chair scrape again, heard him following me. I walked through the lobby and out onto the street. It was dark now. The streetlights were on. Patricia, wait, please. William caught up to me on the sidewalk. I'll cut her off completely. I swear. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever you want. Just please don't do this. I kept walking toward my car. It's too late. It's not. Please. I'll make her leave. I'll block her number. I stopped and turned to face him. Did you sleep in the same bed as her at the hotel? William froze. That hesitation told me everything I needed to know. Answer the question. He looked down at the sidewalk. She cries. At night. She has nightmares about Dad dying. She cries until I get in bed with her. We're not doing anything weird, Patricia. She just needs me there to feel safe so she can sleep. Do you understand that's not normal? I asked. That 32-year-old men don't sleep in the same bed as their mothers? I know it looks bad, he said desperately. I know how it sounds. But she's all I have left of my childhood, of when Dad was alive and things were simple and made sense. She's the only person who's been there my whole life. You're choosing her. I'm not… You are, I interrupted. You've been choosing her since the day we met. Every fight we've had, every decision we've made, every private moment we've shared, you chose to give to her first. I was just too stupid to see it. Give me one more chance, William begged. One more. I'll change. I promise I'll change. I'll set boundaries. I'll… Go back inside right now, I said. Tell your mother you're coming home with me tonight and you're not coming back to her. Tell her you're setting boundaries and she needs to respect our marriage. William turned and looked at the restaurant window. Kelly was visible inside, still sitting at the table, watching us through the glass. She had her hands folded on the table in front of her, calm and patient. William stood there on the sidewalk looking at his mother through the window. 30 seconds passed. A minute. He didn't move. He couldn't do it. I got in my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw William still standing there on the sidewalk, frozen halfway between the restaurant and my car, unable to choose. That was Saturday night. On Monday morning, I called Leonard and told him to proceed with the divorce. He filed the papers that afternoon. The process server delivered them to William at the hotel on Tuesday. William signed them without contesting anything. No fight over the house, no fight over the furniture, no fight over our savings account. He just signed. Leonard said it was one of the fastest, uncontested divorces he'd ever processed. William sent the papers back with a note tucked inside. It said, "I'm sorry I couldn't be what you needed. Not, I'm sorry for what I did. Not, I'm sorry for choosing my mother over you. Just, I'm sorry I couldn't be what you needed." Like it was a compatibility issue rather than a systematic betrayal. Leonard mentioned when he called me with the update that William had listed his address on the paperwork as Kelly's permanent residence. Not the hotel, not our house. Kelly's address, wherever she was living now. He's moved in with his mother officially, Leonard said. I thought you should know. I asked Leonard to add a clause to the divorce about collecting my personal belongings from wherever William was staying. I had some boxes of stuff from before we got married, some old photos and books and college stuff that I'd stored when we moved in together. It was all technically mine and I wanted it back. Leonard arranged it. He called me a week later with an address. I drove there on a Saturday afternoon. It was a ground floor apartment in one of those complexes that's trying real hard to look fancy, but really isn't. Beige buildings with fake shutters, a pool in the courtyard that probably nobody uses, numbered parking spots. I found the apartment number and parked in a visitor spot. I sat in the car for a minute, trying to prepare myself for whatever I was about to see. Then I got out and walked to the door. I knocked. Footsteps inside, then the door opened. Kelly answered. She was wearing an apron that said "World's Best Mom" on it in big red letters. The smell of cookies baking drifted out from behind her. Chocolate chip from the smell. "Patricia," she said warmly, like we were old friends meeting for coffee. Come in, come in. I've been expecting you." I stepped inside and had to stop myself from gasping out loud. Every single wall was covered in photos of William. Baby photos in hospital blankets. Toddler photos of him covered in birthday cake. School photos with the awkward bowl cut and missing teeth. Soccer team photos. Prom photos. College graduation photos. Recent photos from just a few months ago. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands, covering every available surface. The furniture was wrong too. The same furniture from the shrine room in my house, William's childhood bedroom set, was here in the living room. The twin bed with the blue rocket ship comforter was pushed against one wall. His old desk with the pencil marks carved into it. His bookshelf with all his childhood books still on it. The same baby blanket from the guest room was draped over the couch. The jar with his baby teeth was on the coffee table like a centerpiece. "We've recreated his room from when he was 10, Kelly said, noticing where I was looking. She said it proudly, like this was an accomplishment. It was his favorite age, before puberty ruined everything, and he started getting moody and difficult. I felt sick. "Where's my stuff?" "In the hall closet. I'll get William to help you carry it out to your car." She walked to the bedroom door and knocked softly. "Honey, Patricia's here for her boxes." The door opened and William came out. He looked terrible. He'd lost weight, I noticed immediately. His face was hollow, his cheekbones too prominent, his clothes hung loose on him, dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't slept properly in weeks. His hair was messy, unwashed. He couldn't meet my eyes. "Hey," I said quietly. "Hey," he mumbled to the floor. Kelly immediately put her arm around William's waist and pulled him close to her side, possessive and territorial. He didn't move away or resist, just stood there, his mother's arm wrapped around him, staring at the carpet. "He's finally home where he belongs," Kelly said brightly. She looked at me and smiled, triumphant. "Honestly, dear, you were always just a phase, a little detour before he came back to where he was always meant to be." William flinched when she said that. His shoulders tensed and his jaw clenched. But he didn't say anything, didn't defend me, didn't defend himself, just stood there letting his mother hold him like a prize she'd won. I looked at them standing there together in that apartment shrine to William's childhood. Kelly holding onto her 32-year-old son like he was still 10 years old. William too exhausted or broken or brainwashed to pull away. The walls covered in photos documenting every moment of his life. The childhood furniture arranged like a museum exhibit. And I understood with this horrible, devastating clarity that William was never going to choose me. Not because he didn't love me, but because Kelly had raised him from birth to be hers. She'd built him from the ground up to need her, to choose her, to belong to her. Every milestone in his life, she'd been there. Every decision, she'd guided. Every relationship, she'd monitored and controlled. I wasn't losing my husband to his mother. I'd married a man who'd never really left her in the first place. For 3 years, I'd been trying to build a life with someone who was already spoken for, who'd been claimed 32 years ago and never released. "The boxes?" I said. My voice came out flat and emotionless. William went to the hall closet without a word. He pulled out 3 cardboard boxes, the same ones I'd packed when we moved in together 3 years ago. He carried them out to my car one at a time without saying anything. Kelly watched from the doorway, her arms crossed, a satisfied smile on her face. I opened my trunk and William loaded the last box inside. He stood there on the sidewalk next to my car, his hands in his pockets, looking at the ground. "You look like you haven't been eating," I said. "Mom makes all my favorites," he said quietly. "Meatloaf and mashed potatoes, chicken parmesan, all the stuff I loved as a kid. I'm just not that hungry lately." "William, I have to go," he interrupted. "She gets upset if I'm outside too long. If I talk to people without her knowing what we're saying." He turned and walked back toward the apartment. Kelly was still standing in the doorway, waiting. As soon as he was close enough, she put her arm around him again, pulling him inside. Possessive, protective, like she was reclaiming something that had temporarily escaped. The door closed behind them. I stood next to my car in that parking lot, looking at the closed door of apartment 1B, at the window where I could see the photos of William covering the walls inside, at the life my ex-husband had chosen, or been programmed to choose, or never had a choice about in the first place. A 32-year marriage that I'd interrupted for 3 years. That's all we'd been. An interruption. A brief distraction from the relationship that had defined William's entire life. I got in my car and drove away.